Can everyone hear me? Hi, everyone. There's always a pause, so I have to make sure that we're actually streaming live. Yes, wonderful. Guys, I'm Kathleen Byars, founder of Corporate Women Unleashed, and I'm super excited to be broadcasting you today where we are going to talk about the one thing keeping women in the gilded cage. Now, if this is your first time for showing up for one of these broadcasts, if you're new to Facebook and how we broadcast, there are comment buttons below. You can leave a comment. You can tag a friend who might need this broadcast or find it interesting. You could give a like, a thumbs up, whatever it is to let me know you're out there, and feel free to ask questions as we go along. So what we're talking about today is the one thing that we see that is really keeping women inside this gilded cage, right? And what I hear over and over and over again from women, especially when they're coming to one of our career strategy calls, is, you know, when can I, what is this all for? And when can I relax and really enjoy my career? You know, a lot of us women are told we can have it all. We certainly aren't told how. So we are running and racing up the corporate ladder because we want to have fulfilling careers, because we're entirely capable of being strategic and senior leaders in our careers. But we also want to be moms, or we also want to be lovers and wives, or we also want to be friends, and we want to have time for ourselves. And so what's happening is there's this constant trade-off, right? And so what everyone's asking is, well, why do I have to trade off one for the other? And so the first thing that's keeping most women in a gilded cage is the belief that there has to be a trade-off. Okay. So the first thing we have to get rid of is this mindset that is invasive in our culture. And it doesn't matter what your company says or what your boss says or what their belief is. Your belief has to be, there is a way for me to have a dastardly ambitious career and an incredibly experiential life that's fulfilling. Okay. Because the women we work with, that's what they say. I mean, they come in full force and they're like, I don't know how to get there, but I believe that can happen. And that's what I want. And that's really what happened to me in my experience too, because I kept banging my head against the proverbial, gilded cage or whatever, the golden handcuffs, and feeling like, my God, I have this amazing job that's super fulfilling. I'm certainly earning more than I ever thought I would be earning. I have perks and benefits and all these wonderful things that I'm able to provide for myself, my family, my future, but I don't have freedom. I can't enjoy it. I'm too exhausted. My mind is always on. I'm living on airplanes. When it's time for me to get on an airplane for a vacation, I don't even want to get on an airplane. I just want to stay home and sleep on my couch. Like, this isn't really the quality of life I thought I was going to have, right? And so what finally helped me get on this journey of saying another way of living is possible. It is possible to redefine what it's like to be a corporate woman who's successful, was that right there. Possible. Did you hear that word? I said, it is possible to have an amazing career and really enjoy a fulfilling life. I don't know how to do it, but I'm going to figure it out. And so that was the journey that really set me on the path for really what I do now and what I share with women today, because it is possible. So the very first thing that's keeping us in a gilded cage is that we just don't believe it's possible. We believe that we can either, have lesser jobs that are less fulfilling, we can step back, or we are going to have to really sacrifice ourselves, whether it's our sleep, whether it's time for our personal self, whether it's time with our children, or whatever it is. We believe that sacrifice has to take place. And I want you to stop right there. And if you believe that, be honest with yourself, because that's not the case. And it doesn't matter what your boss is doing. It doesn't matter what everyone else in the company is doing. What matters is what you believe first, because once you believe it, you can create it. Okay. What's really keeping us, and where that comes from, and you guys have heard me say this a lot, is it's this fear-based, it's this permission-based mentality, and women have it really, really, really strongly, which is, as soon as someone external to me or something external to me gives me permission, then I can go take a rest. For example, I'm going to work all through Friday night, but Saturday and Sunday, when I'm not expected to work, I have permission to rest, and then I will go take a break. Or I'm going to work, and then I'm going to have this huge sprint for 3 months. I'll earn the promotion, I'll get the project done, I will, whatever it is that you're working towards, and then I'll take a vacation, right? And this sort of cycle of work, and just needing permission, that permission-based mentality, you guys have heard me talk about that a lot, is really pervasive with women. I'm not saying it doesn't happen with men, but much sort with women, where sadly in our culture, we still have this good girl mentality. Like, are you being good? Are you doing what you're supposed to? Are you upsetting people? Don't make anyone upset. And so we really have this strong fear-based mentality, which is where that gilded cage comes in. We don't believe it's possible to have our cake and eat it too. We're told that we can't have it. Well, we're told that we can have it all, but we're told we can't have our cake and eat it too. So which one are you going to believe, right? And then we're afraid that without some external permission, something else telling us it's okay to create this life that we're missing, that we would be doing something wrong, or we would be foolish, or we'd be trading off something. And there doesn't have to be a trade-off at all. Okay. So really powerful women that understand how to balance out their life and have huge careers, they put into practice a couple of things. The first thing is they really understand how to show up at these more senior levels at work with value. Okay. And I've talked about this before in some of my other recorded presentations, but if you're not showing up with value and you're showing up just working hard and trying to prove yourself, or fearful of losing your place, worried about what other people are thinking, right there, that's just like the death knell of freedom. There's no freedom. I mean, you can do that and you can be well rewarded and well compensated. You can get promotions, but there's no freedom in that, right? Because you're basically just doing whatever's in front of you and you've got blinders on. So you've got to be really confident in your value and your capability and lean into that, and know that there are going to be times, because of your confidence in your value and capability, that you need to influence the environment. Okay. And so influencing your environment means creating permission. You got to negotiate your freedom. You can't just hope that someone, the company culture, your boss, the latest weekend, the vacation. I was talking to a woman not too long ago, and there was like a natural disaster. And she's like, oh, it was so great because we had like 2 days off of work because there was this natural disaster, And I totally get where she's coming from. I mean, there was a point in my career where, I hate to say this, my daughter had chickenpox. This was before there was a chickenpox vaccination. And this is horrible, but I was so relieved. I was like, oh God, just chickenpox. I can actually stay home and like watch movies and bake cookies and just like goof off and not feel guilty that I'm not showing up at work. Is that horrible? That's just horrible. So that's what it takes, right? A lot of times is we're looking for permission, and women who are navigating their careers very powerfully, but still enjoying their life, going out to dinner with friends midweek, socializing and networking, going home for family dinner, being energized for bedtime with your kids. What they're doing is they understand their value at work, and they show up and they deliver that value. They negotiate the environment around them and say, look, this is what we're going to do. That's not what we're going to do. We can do that, but here's the resources we need. If I'm going to do this, this, and this is going to have to happen first, right? You're just constantly negotiating. There's no hard line boundaries. There's no yes or no. No. We don't want to be no people. We don't want to be yes people. It's just negotiation, right? And so when you're confident in the value that you deliver, you're going to get the results, and you're going to tell everyone else around you, here's how we're going to get the results. And it's not going to be you working till midnight every night, or you working every weekend, or your team, because if you're burning out your team, right? It's really learning how to influence that environment and communicate winning strategies to your client, to your stakeholders, to the C-suite, whoever it is you're reporting into, or whoever else is, waiting on you to perform, and understanding that you are meeting their objectives at a very high level. And that's the value you bring. And I think women, we miss that all the time. We're not seeing that the more you say yes, the more you're putting yourself in a weaker position. The more you show up to do all this work, you're putting yourself in a weaker position. People will like you because you're doing the work, but they're not necessarily going to see you as a high value player because they're not getting anything from you other than you're doing the work, right? Where's your opinion? How are you negotiating? How are you navigating? Where are you pushing back? Where are you providing that insight that says there's another way of doing things? That's valuable to the players around you. And we work with women at all different levels, executive levels, who aren't doing this. And it's really phenomenal. And I didn't either for a long time in my career. I mean, I was like, what do you need me to do? I'll do it. And I was very proud of the fact that I was willing to give that much to my firm because I felt like that made me loyal, that made me valuable. And it really didn't. And then I got to a point where I was watching these other people come and go, and I would, got my place at the executive table. And I'm sitting there thinking, why are they coming and going? Why are they going, to the lake house on the weekend? I can barely pull myself off the floor on the weekend to like walk my dog, let alone pack up the car and go to a lake house. How are they going to the opera on a Tuesday night? Like, how do you do that? I'm stuck in the office working, and then I'm like racing home to feed my daughter and do bedtime and all this craziness. Like, it was just phenomenal to me that there was people around me that were actually like having this high quality of life experience. And they were either at my level or even above me with even more demands and more, the nature of their job was even more critical. Does that make sense? And I couldn't figure that out. And I just kept banging and banging and banging and going, I thought once I got here, things were going to get easier. And of course they don't. The higher up you go, it doesn't matter how big your team is, how much you can delegate. That's not what it's about, right? We don't just like shove stuff downhill, even though it feels that way when you're a manager. That's not really what's going on. To be a high quality leader, you're there supporting your team, you're creating vision, you're moving roadblocks, and you're accessible to the other leaders in the company. So the way you have to do that, again, is lean into your value. And if you don't know what that is, or you're not confident in it, it's going to be really hard for you to say, you know what, I'm not coming to that 5 o'clock meeting. I'm actually have tickets to the opera. I will catch up with so-and-so tomorrow morning, and I'll get the, and I'll get the cliff notes of that. But you guys have fun, and I'll see you later. Right. And when you feel comfortable with your value, and you feel comfortable what you deliver, and you feel comfortable that you are hitting whatever targets are set out in front of you, that's an easy conversation. But if we're worried about what people think, if we're worried about the other person's reaction, if we're waiting for permission, that's the gilded cage. That is keeping you trapped over and over again. And we work with women who are in anything from, very high stress environments, very demanding positions. Some are in toxic cultures where the culture is just really dysfunctional, or they're going through reorgs. And you absolutely can influence that environment. It doesn't matter. It does not matter what the environment is. When you learn to be an influencer, now you have control. That's the keys to the kingdom. That's the keys to the freedom, because it's in you. It's understanding how to navigate that. And that's what really powerful women do, so that they're not burning out and they're not being a slave to their work or the slave to the expectations of whatever their role is. Instead, it's just fluid, right? And when I always say, like, when I work a 7-day week, or if I work a 60, 70, 80-hour week, it's with intention. And I'm not dropping the ball in the rest of my life. Okay. I'm still showing up for my family. I'm still creating high levels of connection with my kids. I'm still getting some exercise and workout in. I'm still eating healthy. And I think that's the other thing that makes us feel trapped, is that when we do need to do more than, something that takes up a lot of time, I guess is what I'm saying. You have to work a lot. What's happening is we just drop everything else and just get the work done. And so again, that's a mental game. You have to increase your mental game and up your mental game to recognize that even though you are in a situation that's icky or stucky, or, difficult people around you, or all those things that can add stress and anxiety to the experience, you have to still be providing for your self-care. You still have to be performing at peak levels. And so if you're not doing that for yourself, and if you're not creating those strong connections and caring for yourself, it all just falls apart. And then we feel trapped again. We feel anxious. We're losing sleep. We're not healthy. And now we're risking damaging our career, or again, being pigeonholed or slotted as that person who's only capable to a point, right? Wow, she's a great workhorse. She really gets it done, but that's kind of her role, right? And that's not what you want. You want to be obviously dynamic and continuing to grow, continuing to stretch, continuing to take risks. But if you're waiting for permission, you're waiting for the environment to give you the permission to care for yourself, to balance out your life, and to really give you freedom, it won't, right? I don't know a company. There are companies with great cultures, but in general, companies are going to use whatever energy you give them. So you have to decide when you want to give that energy and when you need to put that energy in elsewhere, knowing that you will come back into your role at even more peak performance when you've stepped away for a while. Does that make sense? So I wanted to share this with you guys, because again, the very first thing that you want to make sure you're doing when you think about this, this trap of the gilded cage, is your beliefs. Okay. So go back to your beliefs and say, do I believe it's possible to have a really challenging, fulfilling, demanding career that I love, that is potentially has, incredible salary potential, that gives me the opportunity for beautiful perks for myself and my family, all those things that we sort of define outwardly as success, let's just say. But if that's something that you're capable of and is enjoyable for you, then why shouldn't you have that career? But if you believe it's going to have to be a sacrifice or a trade-off, or you're going to have to drop the ball, or you're going to have to be less important, or you're going to do shoddy work in order to have time to live your life, then then that's true. That is what you'll do, because that's what your mental game is leading you to. Your mindset is leading you to believe that. And so then what happens is women make a trade-off. They either step back and go do something that is not as enjoyable, and they end up being resentful in many cases, or you just stay trapped and you just keep telling yourself, I'll just manage it after the next project, one more month, let me get through 2 more weeks. And we've seen this over and over again. Women who do that and say, I'll manage it, they just never get there. They just don't, because what they have done is bought into that psychology, that belief. And we've actually followed up. We did a study with about 400 women that we had talked to about what was possible for them, what was possible for their career, all high achieving women, women on the grow, emerging leaders, women in leadership. And those that said, I'll figure this out. I think I'll manage this. It's not that bad. When we followed up with them 6 to 9 months later, guess where they all were? Doing the same exact thing, right? Some of them had changed companies. Some of them had stepped back. Some of them have made some changes, but the changes hadn't propelled them forward into the life they wanted. They had just traded, from this, what's the expression? From this pot of boiling water into the next pot of boiling water, from, the skillet to the kettle. I can't remember what that is. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's the real tragedy. And this is what, if we're going to redefine what it means to be a woman in corporate America, you have to start thinking different. Like, you have to break free of this gilded cage mentality, feeling like these are the only options I have. Okay. And so, and we work on that. Like, the women that are our clients, a lot of them come in going, okay, I need these 5 things. And if I have these 5 things, I'll have freedom. And we're like, it may not be those 5 things. Let's just close down all the beliefs. Let's empty the cup of beliefs. And we show women how to rewire that psychology. And let's stop believing that, and let's start anew, and let's build what's possible for you. And once you understand that framework, like I said, you really understand your value. You understand how to A, change your mental game, B, understand your value, and then C, understand how to navigate your career. It's like that. It's just like we'll watch women that we're working with and be like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and right around 4, 5, 6 weeks, all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, oh my God, Kate, this is so easy. Why didn't I see this before? And the reason is because of the mentality. You have to change your thinking. And that, I've told you guys that over and over on these broadcasts. That's where I finally got to. I tried everything external to me that I could possibly think of to change and create the quality of life I wanted and the freedom I wanted. And then I finally was like, all right, I'm out of options. It's got to be me. I am doing something wrong. It is me. And once I allowed myself to admit that, which is very hard for high achievers, right? We don't like to fail. We don't like to admit that we have any wrongdoings. Once I allowed myself to realize that I could actually change my mental game, it was like, oh my God, I really am excited, because now I can really have unlimited thinking, unlimited solutions, unlimited ideas that I can apply to my career and my life and find that freedom. Okay. But do you hear what I just said? All of that was internal to me. There was no external waiting for permission, hoping that your boss or your company leadership would change, hoping that you would find the ideal job. Like, you have to make that happen for yourself. And it starts with your belief. Okay. And so ultimately the gilded cage is inside of us. It really is, with very, very, very rare exception. We work with women in some of the most crazy companies that have very high expectations for performance. And everyone finds the keys to unlock the cage, right? It is in you. So I hope this has been a helpful broadcast. Let me know what you think. If you are a woman who does feel like they're trapped in the gilded cage, and you are tired of missing out on the quality of your life, and you won't settle, right? You definitely have to decide that you're not going to settle and live in this trade-off mentality. Then book a call with us, and let's see what's possible for you, for your career. And so you can really start shifting into the life that you want. And be empowered to enjoy your career, but be empowered to, again, go off and enjoy your nights and evenings with your family, or, to meet someone special if you're single, and to start having fun in life, right? Like, life is passing us by quicker than we'd like. And there's no sense in waiting. We've got to live our life now. So if that's you, please book a call. The URL for that is kathleenbyars.com /session. And you can talk to one of our career strategy coaches, or maybe myself if I'm on the phone. And it's about a 45 to 60 minute call. And we'll just chat about what's going on for you and what the solutions are and what's possible. And if we can help, we'll tell you. If not, we're going to get you some other recommendations. So guys, thank you for coming to today's broadcast. Again, if you have questions, whether this is live or you're watching it later when it's recorded, just go ahead and leave a comment. And I'm happy to come back and share some dialogue, and then share this, share it with another woman who is out there who might need to hear this. And if we shift our thinking, then what is possible to be a woman in corporate America is going to change. Thanks, guys. Been great talking to you. Bye.